If there was ever an international meeting that fits the classic definition of political insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, it's the annual giant United Nations Global Gabfest on climate change. The latest one is being held right now in Sharm el-SHEIKH, Egypt. That's a seaside tourist resort. And it's consistent with the UN's 27-year history of holding these annual meetings in some of the vacation and tourist hotspots of the world. Some examples: Geneva, The Hague, Paris, Milan, Buenos Aires, Marrakech, Cancun, Bali, Madrid, Lima, Copenhagen, and many more. The UN's climate-years have been to all of them. Canada's delegation is there right now with Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault. But that's nothing unusual. Over its 27 years, there have been thousands of politicians, prime ministers, presidents, dictators, all coming to wherever these meetings are being held to lecture the rest of us about lowering our carbon footprints. And they drag along thousands of bureaucrats from the UN and from various governments and special interest groups. And then outside the meetings, there are tens of thousands of protesters at every event, complaining every year that the UN isn't doing enough to lower climate change. And among those protesters are global celebrities, and they fly in on private jets, apparently unaware that that's just about the worst thing you can do for the climate in terms of your personal carbon footprint. So, 27 years. How effective have these meetings been in actually reducing greenhouse gas emissions linked to climate change, which is their ostensible purpose? And the answer is they haven't been effective at all. Global emissions this year are the highest they've ever been in human history. In the 27 years of holding these meetings, emissions fell in only 2 years, 2008 and 2020, and neither of those had anything to do with these meetings. Those were both years of global recessions, and in global recessions, greenhouse gas emissions drop because people have less money to buy the services and goods that are created using fossil fuel energy, meaning coal, oil, and natural gas. And so really, the only advantage of these events that I can see is that year after year, they point out the global hypocrisy of elites who gather in these tourist vacations to lecture the rest of us about lowering our emissions when they fail to do the one thing that might actually help, which would be to lead by example. And you would think that after 27 years, all of these smart people, someone would have figured out that you could hold these meetings by video conferencing. In other words, actually walk the walk instead of just talk the talk. I'm Laurie Goldstein of Sun Media. We're always interested in hearing your views, and please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our YouTube channel.